Hello dear student, welcome in this online session of 8th standard. Today we are going to focus a very interesting chapter, that is chapter number 7, following Mahatma Gandhi. Now this chapter is divided into two basic segments. So today we are going to focus on the first segment. Now as we know all, Mahatma Gandhi, one of the best civilian of our nation, who gave his life and who was the person who gave his time for the nation. So today in this lesson we'll be discussing about how and when Mahatma Gandhi went on to Satyagraha. Also he went on to achieve the independence with the civil disobedience and lots of kinds of other movements too. Apart from that, we'll be also discussing about Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, VP Menon, Motilal Nehru and other leaders too. So let's focus on this lesson. The screen will be displaying your page exactly as per your textbook. So this is chapter number 7. Now the person who recognized as Bapu, all we know that, of the nation, who is also named as Mahatma Gandhi, was none of a man, but he was a great human. And apart from that, if you'll go in the theory, then you can understand that Mahatma Gandhiji gave his life for the nation only. So that was actually Mohandas Karamchandra Gandhi, betterly he was known as. He went to South Africa for the practicing of the law. After acquiring the degree of the barrister, the whites and the established the supremacy over the black natives. So Gandhiji was there in the Africa and he was thinking that I should do something more better for these people. And compared with the white and the Indians enjoyed very few rights also. So therefore Gandhiji protested against the insult and injustice of his discoveries and the path of the truth of non-violence. So fight against the injustice, actually he called it as Satyagraha. Satyagraha agrah karna, that is Satyagraha. Okay, you need to always speak like Satyagraha. Satya, okay, Agra. So therefore we can say Mahatma Gandhi gave his life, as I said you, for the nation. Now here some of the truth are written according to him, that the struggle for the freedom initiated in the South Africa. It means Mahatma Gandhi started his all the freedom fighting movement and he got all the kinds of ambitious rules and regulations from the South Africa. And laterly he also implied, he used these kinds of rules and regulations and his own Satyagraha in India too. It means that Gandhiji suffered a lot, as well Indians also suffered a lot during the struggle when they never responded with the violence. That is a condition when the Britishers also understood that the Indians are not the people who are actually the revengeful people. And what happened? At the end of the struggle, we became successful and also popular. So that's a condition. We can say Mahatma Gandhi got his first general life basic mantra, which was also known as truth and non-violence. Now if you want to get some more detailed things to know about the Mahatma Gandhi, then you can check it out over the screen. It shows that Bapuji was having full name as Mohandas Karamchandra Gandhi. Spiritual mentor of his own life was Srimad Ramchandra. Okay, political mentor Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Gopal Krishna Gokhale was the only person who said to Mahatma Gandhi, "Ki beta, you should go and you should see the villages of the people. You should first of all tour India. Then only you can start this kinds of struggle, battle, and whatever the satyagrahas are there." Now Gandhiji got his birth in Porbandar. Mother's name was Putlibai and wife was Kasturba. So that's how it shows about his autobiography. Now Gandhiji attended his salvation, moksha. We'll not call it like death. Okay, that's a kind of a moksha. At 31st, 1948. It means last day of the January, that is 1948. So that's how we can say second hour of the day of January it was. Now moving to the second page. See, second page shows you a figure. This figure easily displays the Mahatma Gandhi also in this chapter. You can see in the center Mahatma Gandhi standing there exactly behind the man who is actually in the front of, who has already worn a white color of the turban and having a you can say like umbrella stick in his hand. That's a kind of a style in the 80s and 90s. Now this is a kind of an image which shows that founders of the National Indian Congress at Durban, South Africa were presenting for a photograph, that is 1895. To protest against racial discrimination. Gandhiji and other Indian also established a Natal Indian Congress in 1895. Means it was a kind of a group which was generally made by Gandhiji and the other revolutionary leaders. Now can you recognize Gandhiji? He is standing in the picture. If you yes, then that's very good thing. Now see, after the Satyagraha in the South Africa, Gandhiji returned to India in 1915 at the age of 46. So Gandhiji has acquired almost all the kinds of international fame and respect due to his success and protest against the racial discrimination in South Africa as well. He also made South Africa to be free. So he was actually grandly given welcome at the Apollo Port Wellington, that's in Mumbai, okay, Wellington Pier of Mumbai. Now Gopal Krishna Gokhale advised Mahatma Gandhi to tour whole of the nation. Why? Because see, unless you don't know what is the internal problem of the people, how you can judge them, how you can make them to come with you and make all the kinds of possibilities for the war. So that's the condition. Gopal Krishna Gokhale said that ki Mahatma, you must go and visit India. So after touring the country, Gandhiji established Satyagraha Ashram, that is Satyagraha Ashram in Kochrab also, that's later known as Ahmedabad, that is in Gujarat. So it was held in 25th of the May 1915, and after 2 years he shifted his Sabarmati Ashram Ahmedabad on the bank of river Sabarmati. So that's how we can say this Satyagraha was started. Now we will talking about the first Satyagraha, that was the Champaran Satyagraha 1917. See my dear student, Champaran was a place in, and now also it is in Bihar, okay, near Nepal in the foothills of Himalayas. It was a famous place for the plantation, now also it is. And apart from that, we can say the European landlords forced farmers to produce indigo on 3/20th of the portion of their land, and they were asking for the indigo while they were paying very less amount of the indigos also. So that's how we can say, on the request of Rajkumar Shukla, Gandhiji decided to about the issue, okay, he also decided to study about the issues. But before the inquiry could start, he was given ordered by Magistrate Governor General from the Champaran to leave the district immediately, as Gandhiji ignored this notice. See, in the ancient time, today we are having democratic country, but in the ancient time, whatever the Britishers are going to decide, we have to follow that. But if you don't follow, then obviously there are some kinds of chances where they can torture you, they can kill you also. So that's a kind of a condition. Now Gandhiji prepared his his list of the problems faced by the farmers and presented it before the British governor. So Gandhiji stayed in the Motihari village of Champaran district only, and he also protested against the injustice. Ultimately, the Champaran Satyagraha, also known as Indigo Satyagraha, captured the attention of the people, and moreover from the India they got help also. And lately they got their whatever demands were there to be fulfilled out. Next comes the Kedah Satyagraha. See, in this lesson, my dear student, we're going to focus about on the Satyagrahas only. Okay, we'll be focusing mostly on the Satyagrahas. So now comes the Kedah Satyagraha 1917 to 1918. So Kedah Satyagraha, Kedah is actually a district in Gujarat which is experiencing lots of amount of famine in the year 1917, which was experiencing actually, and that was the condition. We can say the production was destroyed almost. It will be destroyed only if you just take a general knowledge also related to the Kedah Satyagraha. Obviously these kinds of productions are not going to work here. So still the Britishers, actually the government demanded for paying the tax. Tired with the tax collections and all, farmers get a protection, farmer went for the protection. And laterly we can say, at that time leadership of Gandhiji was there. So the farmers stand as the Satyagrahis against the Britishers. Gandhiji told the farmer that they would not pay any tax until the government accepts their demand. So laterly Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel quit his practice as a lawyer, as he was also in that same place, and laterly he also joined the protest. After joining Gandhiji, Gandhiji wrote a letter to the collector of the general of that area, and he also asked for removal of the tax for the poor farmers, which was actually waived. Then the rich farmers would pay actually the regular tax. So at the end of the collector passed the order, same in the year 1918, and the movement was successful. So that's a kind of a thing where we can say Kedah Satyagraha did not get much result, but it became most and more important on the principles, because of the principles of basis of which we fought, actually which Indians fought. And laterly we can say the farmer became aware, and they also became fearless, courageous also. So the most important outcome was about the nation and the Gandhiji, actually, that we all got a devotee and a committed leader like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. So laterly what happened? See, in the Kedah Satyagraha, it was not like we got all the kinds of benefit, but laterly we can say after the Kedah Satyagraha, actually we got a prominent leader, we got a prominent, remarkable leader, a remarkable person who actually made India to be united. So that was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Okay, I hope you are understanding this lecture. Now moving further, Rowlatt Act. देखो Rowlatt Act क्या होता है? What is the Rowlatt Act? See, in the Britishers' time, Britishers were having opportunities in which they can arrest anyone, they can kill anyone, they can torture anyone, they can do whatever the person is there in that target. Okay, now why the persons were taken like this in a brutal condition? Just because if anyone is not obeying or not paying the tax, if anyone is not giving a proper reply to the Britishers, obviously they will try to hit a heavy punch over their faces, bodies, and they can be also making that person to capture and get inside the cell without getting a general arrest warrant also. And if anybody is asking them that what happened, what is their reason to capture them, what is their problem, है ना, या फिर what is their fault, then they would not give any reply, and they would, instead of giving reply, they would make them to suffer more and more, harder and harder. So that's how we can say the Rowlatt Act was authorized by the government to exercise strict control over the activities. And laterly we can say whoever is denying at the right can be accused as the jailed person too. So that's a condition where we can say this act was completely violated and fundamental. This was also actually act which was violating fundamental rules, regulations and rights. And that's how we can say Gandhiji protested against this act and called this act as a Black Act, Andha Kanun. Now the Rowlatt Satyagraha was actually the first Satyagraha of the we can say of the nation against the British, but it was a limited for the big cities only. So rallies were compromised, rallies were also organized in the big cities only. Local village public were not aware about this thing, so the processions were carried out and were organized also. But support of the people were less, number of the people were less, because most of the people at that time were living only in the villages. So that's the condition. British are restored to the suppression of the scrub movement, and this movement was not a kind of a great successful movement. It was a kind of a normal movement only. So now comes the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Now see student, 1919, okay, as a part of the protest against the Rowlatt Act, the people of Punjab announced a strike on 30th of the March, 6th April, and that was the date year of 1919. The condition of Amritsar was almost in the control looking at the martial laws. It was decided in Amritsar. After deciding these kinds of laws in Amritsar, a meeting was organized on 30th April, that was at the day of Baisakhi. Baisakhi is a very pure and very pious festival of the Sikh people. They enjoy on this day very much. So that's how we can say okay, in the Jallianwala Bagh, they actually were also gathering, and they were also paying attention towards they were also giving some kinds of, we can say, tribute to the martyr, Shahid, and also they were protesting against the arrest of Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Kechlo. So approximately 10,000 people had gathered. See, 10,000 people they have gathered inside the area which was also known as you can say like Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar. Now there was only one exit. See, my dear student, there was only one exit. Armies entered inside that exit, and they entered inside the Bagh, means inside the area where the meeting was held, and the army general head commander, General Dyer, gave the command to his soldiers and said, "Fire." It means they actually fired. So the firing started without any prior notice or the warning, and there were the high walls around it, so people could not escape from that constant firing. And also it stopped only when the soldiers ran out of the ammunition. It means when the bullets were over, they stopped the firing. Till the bullets were there in the gun, they continuously, instantly, brutally killed the people. So as per the officials says, record of 379 died and 1200 were injured, but actually reality was quite dangerous, and it was quite shocking also. So that's how we can say the casualties were much more than the mentioned in the official riots of that the whole scenario, where Gandhiji completely lost about his all the fate from the British people. And also, since he also said that this is not a justice for the people, and therefore Gandhiji said, I'm not going to support this Britishers anymore. So this is the condition where the Jallianwala Bagh is actually represented. Now I'm showing you one of the image, my dear student, where you can see this here, Jallianwala Bagh 7.3 page 7.3 the graph, and it shows people are actually pointing the place where the bullets were fired and the marks are left behind. You can see the wall, it is showing you the bullet firing. So these are the latest people, means these are the people of 20th century, 21st century. But whatever happened in 90s and all, 1990, 1919 was the condition which was actually a very brutal condition, where the people were dying without their death only by the we can say unpure and unbiased work of a person whose name was General Tyre. Moving further, now here comes the knighthood about the awarded person whose name is Rabindranath Tagore. This is the figure where you can see Rabindranath Tagore. As per my knowledge, Rabindranath Tagore has also written our national anthem, as well as he is the only poet in the world who has written the national anthem of two countries, means of the Bangladesh also. The national anthem is only written by Sri Rabindranath Tagore. Tagore was a poet, a non-poet, as we know about him, and he also protested knighthood, and he also wrote about the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Laterly, we can say that key efforts were also made to the united Hindus and Muslims, as the Gandhiji was losing contract also, and he was losing faith from the Britishers. So Rolette Satyagraha started here, and he also wanted that Hindus and Muslims must be united together working. So that's how we can say at that time. See, when Gandhiji and everybody was thinking that Hindus and Muslims must be working together, at that time victory was done by the Britain in the World War I. So that's how allied nations signed the treaty with the Turkey, which has defeated. Now the terms and the condition of the treaty were strict and unjust to the Turkey. It means the Sultan of Turkey, the Sultanate of Turkey, was the religious head of the Islam too. So as per the treaty, his Khilafat post was as Khalifa, as per the treaty. So it was also to be terminated, means the new government came in Turkey, Turkey was defeated, and they were trying to remove Mr. Khalifa. So laterly we can say Muslims all over the world, including India, also launched the protest in the favor of Khalifa, and laterly the movement of India was also in India was known as Khilafat Moment. See, when you win a territory, when you win any kind of zone, state, area, and if you make to change the king and queen at that time, obviously people will target you as the protesting persons, and they will protest against you. Same thing was done in India also in the favor of Khalifa. So therefore we can say the main in the favor of Sultanate of Turkey. So the main leaders of Khilafat movement were in India like Ali brothers, Maulana Shaukat Ali Khan, Maulana Muhammad Ali Khan. Gandhiji also decided that to support this Khilafat movement, and he also thus appealed to the Congress, we should support this Khilafat movement. And laterly we can say it was also one of the protests against the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So his intention was to make complete Swaraj by the combined forces of Hindus and Muslim community. So laterly we can say he also planted a non-cooperation movement, yani ki it was like completely non-cooperation. So his famous book Hind Swaraj, he also wrote in 1909 that Gandhiji said that British rule could be established in India due to the cooperation of Indian, and it ran also with the support of Indians only. Why don't the Indians support the Britishers? If the Indians are not supporting to the Britishers, then obviously we can withdraw them, we can withdraw their support, and thus British rule would be ending within a year. So that's the kind of thing. Swaraj will be established. Gandhiji started non-cooperation movement on the same line, thought that the two main features of the non-cooperation movement were first to complete the boycott of the government, second the leaving the jobs, then legislative councils, assemblies, governmental educations, institute, etc., etc. And apart from that, British title and the honor were also given back to the Britishers. So this was a creative idea from the Gandhiji, as well as also removal of untouchability, liquor prohibition, use of Swadeshi goods and all were also one kind of targeted thing which were done in this kind of a protest. And using the khadi was also getting a very more impetuous. Apart from that, using of only national education was also one of the theme project of the same party and the same we can say protest too. So that's how Gandhiji started non-cooperation movement by returning the title of Kesar-e-Hind. Thus Gandhiji actually returned his title which was given by the Britishers, Kesar-e-Hind. Now the movement picked up so momentum, it got so much speed that Gandhiji got most of followers, and he also got his most of supporters. So in 1921 to 22, students left the school, colleges. Many leaders like Motilal Nehru, C. Rajgopalacharya, then Asif Ali left their advocacy. They also left the British court, and most of the elected members of legislative council and the local self-governed institution resigned from their post. It means Indians were now on their own will, and they were not going to take any post, any money, any material from the Britishers. Thus Charkha was also invented and it was also somehow introduced, which is also known as the spinning wheel. It was started place to place and everywhere, so this movement got prompt everywhere. So many national and educational institutes like Kashi Vidyapit, Bihar Vidyapit, Jamia Millia Islamia, then Gujarat Vidyapit, etc. were also established. So Mahatma Gandhi was against actually the violent movement, but a crowd angry farmers at the Gorakhpur. See, this movement was actually keeping a theme, truth and non-violence. It means we are not going to fight with the lathis and with the guns and all, but we'll fight with the words. We'll not touch anyone. We will not beat anyone. But an incident happened in Chauri Chaura. That's a village in the Gorakhpur district in the Uttar Pradesh state. In the Chauri Chaura, they attacked the police station in 1922, and because of the police had fired, the crowd killing few injury men and women. Many people, they set ablaze fire to the police station. 22 to 26 policemen were alive burned inside the station. It means when the police people were firing the gun, the people got provoked and they charged with the fire. उन्होंने आग लगा दिया, and literally policemen only live they were burnt inside the police station, which was a very brutal kind of condition, and Gandhiji never ever supported this kinds of satyagraha too. Immediately due to this act of violence of Gandhiji through non-cooperation movement immediately, and he took his all the hand back from the Chauri Chaura Satyagraha. So that's how we can say after calling off the non-cooperation movement, Gandhiji focused on constructive activities in the remote areas too, in the villages too. And the social reforms propagated the middle of the 20th century helped Gandhiji to earn more trust and faith of people. Plus, Gandhian also started giving ideas and started uniting the people from village to village, walks from walk. So other, we can say, major devotees of this period are also established of the Indian Communist Party also at the time, like RSS was established, Rashtra Swayam Sevak Sangh was also started there, and later these parties also advised the future of India, which was quite different in a way, but they were also trying to support the India for the freedom only. So which is also known about their social, political, economical views and to help the other people also. So this is the condition where we can say Gandhiji and along with his devotees, volunteers, they made a complete professional thing to make India free and also to go on the level where they can easily get all the kinds of Swadeshi goods, food, money, movement, people and power. So that's how this lesson is all about. Now see, last but not the least, then we can understand, see, to see these kinds of things happening in India, the British government sent Simon Commission under the chairmanship of Sir John Simon to investigate the progress of the governance scheme introduced under the Government of India Act, that is 1919, and suggest new steps for the reform too. So this commission had to be decided the political future of our country, which was not accepted by some of the prominent leaders like Lala Lajpat Rai. Okay, all the political parties decided to boycott the Simon Commission. So when the members of the commission were coming back to India to get a survey, actually they were welcomed by the black flag at the Lahore station by giving the slogan "Simons go back, Simons go back" as a mark of protest. So this is also one kind of thing. If we talk about 1928, then Bardoli Satyagraha is one of the most prominent Satyagraha which should be also remembered, known and should be understood. The British government increased the revenue in Bardoli around 22%. When the farmers' request was not attended by the government, they decided to launch a Satyagraha. Who started to launch the Satyagraha? Farmer decided to launch the Satyagraha. Vallabhbhai Patel accepted the leadership of Satyagraha. Ravi Shankar Maharaj, Jugat Ram Dave extended their support. Extended their support means they also helped Sri Vallabhbhai Patel. Now, ference and encouragement speech were also given by Vallabhbhai Patel, made the farmer more fearless, and laterly we can say he also denied to paying about the revenue. So nobody was about to pay the revenue from the Kedah, and laterly in the presence of other farmers, amount of the revenue was also settled justly. So the success of Bardoli Satyagraha earned Vallabhbhai Patel a title of Sardar. It means by the help of Vallabhbhai Patel, Kedah Satyagraha was controlled. What a great kind of thing is that. And later we can say Sardar Patel played a significant role in the negotiation during the 1945 to 47 for the freedom of India, and he also among the prominent leader of the freedom struggle. 1918 onwards became the president of the Revolutionary League also, as well as he also became the president of the Indian National Congress Academy in 1931. So that's how we can say Sardar Patel played a very important vital role in saving of India, also doing Akhand Bharat, also means single nation, single love for the nation, and that's how we can say he also made us to understand what is the power of unity. Next comes the Nehru Reports in 1928, a conference having the representative all over its political parties, as well as India also met in the India also. So we can say the political parties met in India in Delhi in February 1928. A committee was also reformed. Why the committee was reformed? See, committee was reformed under the chairmanship of Motilal Nehru, who was also father of Jawaharlal Nehru. So this committee prepared draft a constitution which would be accepted to all the parties. Now, what was in the drafting committee? See, it came to known as the Nehru Report also. The Muslim League did not accept it. Thus, it was rejected by the British people. And later, you can check it out the figures. See, this is actually the figure of Motilal Nehru. So, after rejection, resolution of the complete freedom was in the demand 1929. Means they were asking for the Purna Swaraj. The limited time, the time limitation given to the grant self-government to India as per the Nehru Report got over. And Indian National Congress convened a session at Lahore. There was a meeting held at Lahore, December 1929, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru, and in this conference, a resolution of Purna Swaraj was asked. It means we kept the proposal to get the Purna Swaraj, complete independence. Okay. Now we can understand that we also passed a tricolor flag which was unfurled on the bank of river Ravi. It was a sign of war. Okay, 31st December 1929, which was also as a mark of Purna Swaraj. Member took the oath, Kasam Khai, to get the complete independence by 26 January 1930. Hence, to commemorate this day, Indian Constitution also was enforced only on the 26th January 1950. That is also known as the Republic Day. So, how nicely we are also adjusting the dates according to the incidents which is historical. I hope this lecture was interesting, my dear student. I hope you enjoyed this lecture, and I also hope that you got lots of amount of knowledge related to the following Mahatma Gandhiji. And one thing we should always remember in our life, never ever try to raise your hand to beat anyone. It is a condition where we need to follow on the footprint of Mahatma Gandhiji, that is truth and non-violence. See you in some other part of the new lesson. Till then, take care, keep revising. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.